Hello, welcome back. Today's video is about the hip rehabilitation. In particular today I'm focusing on the internal and external rotation movements of the hip. So that's the ability of our hip to turn, like so. Quick note, I suppose the importance of it is, why do we need to do these things, Kerry? Why do they matter? With the way that our hips and our pelvis are shaped, our hip joint itself is made up of our femur bone, this long leg bone coming up into the acetabulum, which is just basically a little rim of our pelvis. There's a particular amount of internal external rotation that makes it comfortable for us to operate in our day-to-day lives. If ever we're starting to notice that the knees are buckling in like so, what that means for the hip joint is that the hip is internally rotated. What we'll start to find is a couple of things. What people might find that their symptoms start to present if they have either both knees knocking in or one a little bit more so than the other on functional movements such as walking, lunging, squatting, climbing stairs, etc. What happens is the inside of that femoroacetabular joint, so your hip joint, may start to wear down a little bit on the inside. There's a muscle deep in your gluteal region, called the piriformis muscle. That is a muscle that in standing internally rotates our hip. So it can be that muscle gets strained and overused, and that starts to present with buttock pain. And like I say, if that tightness is coming into the front of the hip joint, that can impinge your iliopsoas, which is a hip flexor muscle, comes from your femur through, attaches onto your back. So you can have a combination of anterior hip pain, gluteal pain, and even a bit of lower back pain if that psoas muscle is released. So a lot going on there. The hip's a very, very important joint. As you can tell, we need our hip joint to be able to walk, climb stairs, squat down to pick things up so we can do our correct lifting technique so that we don't hurt our back. So like I said, it's very important that we maintain the range of movement of the hip internal and external rotation, but also that we learn to control that range in functional activities, like I say, such as the lunge and the squat and that as well. So our exercises today are going to be based on all of that. So a little combination of stretches for the hips, but also functional strengthening exercises, things to bear in mind when we are, like I say, walking, squatting and things, so that we can start to control the ranges of movement of the hips, keep the hips as healthy as possible. Okay, so we'll start with our warm-up exercises first in standing, and there will be some squatting and lunging, of course, and then we'll come down onto the mat and do the rest of our Pilates exercises there. This video today is about an intermediate level, okay, so it's not quite for beginners, so you're in that middle range. Like I say, some of these might be quite difficult, but see how you get on with them, and like I say, always ease yourself in gently, don't ever push yourself too much through pain. So we'll have a wee stand to begin with. Feet are going to be slightly wider than hip width apart. The first thing we're going to focus on doing with the feet, rather than the feet and the inside borders of the feet staying flat, we'll lift up the arches of the feet, put more weight down through the outside borders of our feet. Knees are nice and soft. We'll take a breath in, and on the breath out, we're going to lift the arms right the way up overhead, palms facing each other, turn the hands away from each other, and we're going big backward circles. So the pinky fingers are facing up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. Breathe in to follow through. Let's go for 5 of these, all the way up overhead. Keep the shoulder blades pulled down in the body. Hands turn to face away from each other. We're trying to get that backward circle. Very important to keep the shoulders moving. That's the other ball and socket joint of the body. 3 more to go. Turn and backwards. So you might get a lot of clicking and creaking as you go here. Totally normal. Getting the shoulder joint oiled up, lots of fresh blood flow and fluid through. Rotate, keeping your neck nice and soft. So when we're doing this, don't want to be seeing a forward chin poking posture, thinking of the head pulled up tall. Rotate and back. Embrace the clicks and the creaks, and down center. And we're going to think about taking that left leg slightly forward of the right. So we're stepping forward, hand down on the hip, take a breath in. On the breath out, take your weight onto the outside border of that foot, and we're going to side bend down to that side. All of your weight down through the outside of that foot there, hands on the outside of the knee, breath in to lift the opposite arm up and over. Breath out, reach tall, drag the leg back in, same on the opposite side, so step the foot forward, weight on the outside border, and let's slide down, up and over. And when we're taking ourselves back up, we're thinking about pushing through the outside border of that foot. Breathe in, and step the foot back, lovely. One more time each side, step forward, outside border of the foot, all the weight goes down through there, and down, we side flex, breath in. On the breath out, push through the outside border of that foot. Step the foot back. One more time on the side, step forward. Outside border takes the weight. Breathe in, breathe out. Side bend. You can really lean down through this hand. Like I say, if it's too much pressure on your back, keep your tummy pulled in. Breath in. Push down through the outside border of the foot. Back up and center. Let's go in for squats next. So we're going to come wider than the hips, okay? Slightly wider apart than the hips. We're going to turn the feet out slightly at maybe 5 to 1 on the clock, 10 to 2 on the clock. When we squat down, going to get you to come down as far as you possibly can, but I want you to take a peek down at your knees. I want your knees coming out over your toes. Don't want the knees buckling in. Okay, so if it means that you sacrifice not going down as deep on your squat, that is all good. Take a big breath in. On your breath out, let's go. Do a couple of squatting series. Knees coming down. I bring my arms out in front. If you want here, if you do want to practice getting down a little bit deeper, hold on to something in front of you. So you can practice this. Let's stand up tall. You can practice holding on to a chair, hold on to something stable and sturdy that's not going to come with you as you pull through it. Breath in, breath out. Pulling the pelvis up towards your face, bringing the arms out in front. Trying to see how far can we comfortably sit down. Trying to keep the inside borders lifted and the knees out. External rotation of the hips. Breath in, breath out and up. So we're really slowing this down to make sure we're getting the correct technique. Down nice and deep. Fixing the feet. Breath in. Breath out. Oh, feel the warmth, feel the energy. Breath in. Breath out to sit. You'll be feeling the hips roaring. A lot lighten up in the thigh muscles here. Breath in. Try to keep your head up tall. Breath out. This will be the last one. Lots going on in the hips here. Really good. Breath in. And our breath out. You see your back will come forward ever so slightly. Breath in. And the breath out. We'll stand back up center. Let's shift our weight left to right a few times. Get the blood flowing into the thighs. And then we're going to come in for our single side raises next of all. Okay, so we're going to take our weight onto the right leg. Soften that knee slightly, hands on the hips. Straight knee and straight toe on this left hand side. Keep the shoulders steady, stacked up on top of the hips. This will be a balance contest. And let's lift. We'll do 5 in total. 4. If you can, 3. Have a look down. Make sure the knee's over the toe. 2. And 1. Let's change over. Weight comes down through that left hand side. Knees soft, slightly bent. Knees straight and pointed on this right hand side. Shoulders stacked up on top of hips. And we lift. Really gripping your toes into the mat here. Shoulders steady on top of the hips the whole time. Last one. Down in center. Let's change over again. You can say keep the knee open wide, almost coming over the middle toes. And lift. And down. The slower you do this, the harder it is. Because of course, you'll be balancing on your foot longer. Last one, and then we're going to change last time on the opposite side. Shift weight, get steady, knee straight, toe point. Let's go. Lift and lower. A nice softness of this balanced knee. Toes gripping the earth to act as your stable, steady base of support. Last one, up and lower back down. Lunges next. We're going to take left foot out in front, right foot's behind, and I come up. I bring my heel up at the back, so I'm in this kind of position. Okay, hands on the hips, and again, thinking about keeping the knee going over the front toes as I lower this back knee down onto the ground. So we'll do singles. So we're going to come down, touch the back knee. So real softness and control here. I don't do any of this fast. You know, once you've learnt the body basics, that's when you can start to speed things up. Concentration's on this front knee, moving steady over that second toe and not buckling in. Good, let's keep it going. Last 3. Down, touch, up. 2, keeping the shoulders stacked up on top of the hips as always. And 1, we come up, step 2, change over. Lovely, and I shall step and face this way. Hips square, breath in, and on our breath out, that lower of the back knee, having a check in at this front knee, knee over your second toe. Good, last 3. Getting really warmed up. 2, and 1. Okay, from here, we're coming down onto the knee. Just that same knee that you're on. We're going to come in for our mat exercises soon. So we're going to come in for our hip flexor stretch. From here, we squeeze bum and squeeze tummy. We're lunging onto that front knee. That front knee, the same arm on that side. Rest. You'll know this one. And your opposite arm comes up overhead. Taking a big breath in. And a big breath out. Stretching off the front of the hips. Breath in. On the breath out, bring both hands either side of your front foot. Turn your toes up at the back. Push down through both feet. And let's lift that back knee up. Now get ready, we're going to take this front leg back to come into a plank position. Breath in. On the breath out, lean through the hands. Drag that leg back. Down into a nice plank. Big breath in. On the breath out, walk your feet slightly closer towards your hands, push through your hands, and let's come into a nice downward dog. So with downward dog, I'm pushing as hard as I can through my hands here. I'm really pushing the ground away with the heel of my hands and my 10 fingers to ensure that I'm pushing all of my body weight down onto my heels. I want your heels to be touching the mat. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, I'm looking down in between my feet. Breath in. On the breath out, take your weight over onto your left foot. We're going to pick the right leg up behind us, 3-legged dog. Now you're only lift as far as where you can ensure that you're keeping that left foot on the ground and that you're not twisting the pelvis too much. Breath in. On the breath out, we're going to lunge through with this leg. We're going to bring elbow and knee together. Touch. Back up again into our 3-legged dog. Lower back down. Into our downward dog, we're going to pump the feet and the heels up and down. Last 2 and 1. Now we take the weight down through the right leg. And picking the left leg. 3-legged dog, but pushing through the hands to ensure we're keeping the right heel down. And we're going to come through for our knee to elbow. Let's go. Knee comes through, touches the elbow, gently sends us back into our 3-legged dog. Big breath in, breath out, touch that foot back down. Shift your hands about if you need to. You can come up onto a fist or rest your hands completely here if you need to and stretch your wrists off, popping the feet up and down. Big breath in. And now in the breath out, we're going to step forward with the opposite leg. So I'm going onto my right leg now for our hip flexor stretch on that side. Stepping the foot forward in between the hands. Lower the back leg. And we're up for that hip flexor stretch. Lunging forward. Squeezing the bum. Hand on the same leg. Lift the opposite arm up and over. Big breath in. And a big breath out. I'm just wriggling my hands here to stretch off the wrists. And we're going to go in for another set of our down dog, 3-legged dog series. Alrighty, big breath in. On the breath out, we bring both hands either side of the foot. You'll know this one. Turn the toes up at the back. Breathe in. Breath out, we push down through both of the feet to hover that back knee up into this kind of extended tripoded plank position. Breath in. On the breath out, drag that front leg back so that we are in a full plank. Breathe in, breathe out, walk your feet slightly forward towards your hands if you need to, and let's push through the hands to get our heels all the way back onto the mat for our downward dog. Take your weight down through your right leg, and let's go in for our three-legged dog. Pick your left leg up whilst keeping right heel down. Breathe in. On the breath out, we're going knee to elbow, left knee touches left elbow. Gently sending the weight back onto the right heel, three-legged dog. Breathe in, breathe out, returning that foot. Pump the heels up and down, readjust your hands if you need to. The hand endurance will come. If you're getting wrist pain here, definitely pop some cushions underneath, but rest assured the wrist strength will come. Take your left heel onto the ground and let's pick the right leg up for our three-legged dog. Breathe in, breathe out, bend the knee, knee touches elbow, and sending the weight back onto the left heel for our final three-legged dog. Lower the leg back down, bend through the knees, send your bum onto your heels, stretch your wrists off, bring your forehead down towards the mat. A little baby child's pose with wrist stretch here. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, sideline series next. So I'm going to come onto my right hand side. So feel free to come on whatever side you want first. I'm just coming onto my right, this might be your left. So we're coming all the way down. We're going straight in for our clam level 2. So we're going to prop our hands head on hand. You could use a wee cushion here if you like. Bringing the hips to 45 degrees, so I come to 90, down to 45, one foot stacked up on top of the other. We're going to float the 2 feet up to begin with. I'm pulling my belly button in towards my spine, fingertips propped in front of the belly button. Breath in, and on the breath out, opening up into that clam position, keeping the feet connected and closing back down. Beautiful. So this is working into that external rotation of the top hip and the bottom hip being up in this position is coming into a little bit of external rotation as well. So externally rotated is where preferably we slightly like to be, if I'm being honest with you. It's when we come internally rotated in any of our ball and socket joints that we start to maybe encounter problems, because that's where things get impinged. That also happens in the shoulders. So like I said, modern day society, we haven't built the bodies that can really cope with modern day society. We are sitting a lot and we have our arms out in front of us. So we don't really work into these external rotation movements much, which is why these types of exercises can start to burn a little bit, which is good. We've one more to do. Keep the height of the feet, keep the belly button tucked in, keep this up here for the height. Last time we're going to pulse up here, pulling the knees up towards your face for 5, 4, 3 and 2, 1. Breath in, close your clam back down. From here, we're going to do the same thing on the shoulders now. So we're going to keep the legs where they are. We're going to come down, interlace your fingers behind your head, and we're coming down into this closed book position with the elbows facing each other. Now we're going to keep the legs where they are, and we're going to keep this bottom elbow where it is too. Take a breath in. On the breath out, the only thing I'm moving here is this top elbow. I'm lowering my top elbow back so that I can try to get that shoulder blade all the way onto the mat. Now when I'm here, those legs are going to want to come with me, so I'm squeezing the insides of my knees together to keep these 2 legs pinned down onto the ground and looking over the shoulder. Breath in, breath out to close your book. Good, another breath in. Start to open your book, squeezing the knees together, trying to lower that top elbow down onto the floor. Gonna get a great stretch into your shoulder blades and your thoracic spine here. Closing back together. Absolutely class. From here, we're going to come up into a kneeling position. Okay, I'm keeping with the theme of going this way, so I'm bringing my left leg up. I'm coming down onto my side like so. Hand, knee and leg, my toes on that side, all nicely in line. Sorry if you can't see me here, guys. That's us. Hand is directly underneath the shoulders. We're bringing the chest bone up towards the ceiling, hand on the hip, hovering the leg, and we're just going to touch up and down. The foot just comes in line with the hip. Start to really feel this pinching on the outsides of the hips, trying to get a little bit of strength into the glute medius muscle. Good. We're going to go on for our last 3. Touch and down, and 2, down, and 1, down, sitting up. Big breath in. On our breath out, we're coming down onto that side again. Slightly more difficult this time. Hand, knee and toe nicely aligned. Pull the chest bone up towards the ceiling. We're going to pick the leg up, pull the toes up towards your face. We're floating forward to kick, kick and straighten the leg back. And let's go. Side kick, kick, straighten the leg back. Trying to keep the height so that the foot's just in line with your hip the whole time. Straighten the leg back. 2 more. Kick, kick and straighten back. 1 more. Kick, kick and straighten back. Excellent. Coming up, and then we'll come down onto the other side to do the whole series on the opposite side. So coming in for our clams. Head is propped up on the hand. Hips at 45 degrees. We float the feet up. Fingertips in front of the belly button pulled into the spine, and we're opening into our clam. So a real squeeze of the bum and the tummy here to ensure that your pelvis and your lower back isn't doing all the movement here where we're tossing around, everything at the centre staying steady. This is purely an external rotation of the hip. And that bottom hip's having to do a little bit of work as well by holding you up there. Getting your breathing right. Be up here in this clam position for a bit. Pause up there if you like, because that's where we're exploring that end range. That's where we're trying to create more movement. And then once we've created more movement, we try to control that movement. Like I say, through our functional exercises like our lunge and our squat. Mostly for walking and running as well. So like I said, this is a very good program to do if you're a keen walker or a runner. Keep the hips healthy so that you keep hip pain, buttock pain and back pain at bay. Whoo, last one. Closing back down, big breath in. The breath out to open you up. Hold up there. And let's pulse up towards us. And 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, close back down. The butt is roaring. Lower back down. And let's go in for our little thoracic shoulder stretches. Fingers interlaced behind the head. Elbows lock in together. We're keeping the knees where they are. They don't move. Inhale. And on the exhale, opening your book, taking that top elbow. Oh, you might get a lovely big stretch or a crack or a pop in the back. It's beautiful. Trying to lower the shoulder blade and the elbow on that top end on to the ground or your mat on that side. Breathe in. Breathe out to close your book. Let's do another. Breathe in. On the breath out, let's open the book, dropping that top shoulder back towards and pinning, remember, the 2 knees together so that the knees don't come with you. Breathe in and breathe out to close back together. And it's from there that we come up into our kneeling position. We've got this other side to do. Like I say, sorry you can't really see me, still need to get a wider camera. Okay, we're coming down onto this side now. Hand, knee and the top pointed toe all nicely in line. Your hands just underneath your shoulders. Pull the chest bone up towards the ceiling, hands on the hip. And we're just picking the leg up and down like our windscreen wipers for some singles. Can you see me? Hello. Keep your neck nice and neutral here, just in between your 2 shoulders. Seems like I'm sort of having to lift my head there to be able to see you. Have a look down, make sure the toe is in line with the knee, but keep the chest up towards the ceiling. Last 3, down, up and down. And last one after this. Excellent, bend that knee. Let's have a little meal here just to take a bit of a breath. Stretch the wrists off. We're going to do our side kicks on that side. Next breath in. On the breath out, take the hand down underneath the shoulder, leg out, hand, knee and toe all nicely in line, chest facing the ceiling. We start up in the foot level with the hip position, float the leg forward with toes turned up. We kick, point the toe and pull back. Let's go. Kick, point the toe and come back. And we kick, point the toe, come back. Last two. Kick, point, toe, come back. Keep the tummy tight. Kick, point, toe, and back. And we're up in this tall position. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, from here, let's do a little let's do a mermaid actually, just to give ourselves a little stretch there into the gluteal. So I'm going to bring my legs out this way, which might be to your left hand side if you're watching. Just bringing one foot, the leg on this side out in front. One foot's just kind of in front of the other. Okay, I'm going to grasp onto my calf on this side. Side bend down. Opposite arm comes up and stretch. Get a lovely big stretch up the side of your back. Breath in. On the breath out, reach down and over. This hand hits, I come down onto the forearm on that side and I stretch this way. Breathe in. Breathe out, up and over. Catch the calf. Mermaid. Breath in. Breath out. Down and reach down onto the forearm and stretch down. Beautiful. Breathing in, transition in the middle for a spine stretch. So we're going to knees straight, toes pulled up, about hip width apart. Hands level with the shoulders as if we're resting ourselves on a big beach ball here. Take a breath in, set the shoulders back on top of the hips. And as we breathe out, rolling the hands forward, running hands over the top of that big beach ball. And you're looking down in between your knees. Breathe in. And on the breath out, sitting up tall, let's do one more big breath in. Breath out, pull the tummy button in towards the spine, looking down and rolling forward. Keep the toes pulled up towards your face. Breath in. Breath out, sitting up tall. And let's take the legs off to the opposite side for our mermaid side on that stretch. Mermaid side on that stretch, mermaid stretch on that side. Okay, so we're going to come down, holding onto the calf, arm up and over. I really like to take my time breathing into this one. Breath in. Breath out, we come down, hand touches, forearm comes down, elbow bent, stretching up and over. Oh, lovely. One more each side. Breath in. Breath out, up and push, grab the calf. Mermaid's my favourite. Breathe in. Was a mermaid this Halloween. Down onto the elbow, up and over. Breathing deep. Beautiful. And up. Okay, bridge and core flow next. We're going to come onto our backs into our bridge position. Okay. Let's see. So we're resting with our feet spread about hip width apart, just in our bog standard bridge position, hands down by the sides. And you're bringing your heels, you're almost wanting to drag your heels and your hands towards one another. Okay, even though they're not actively moving, it's just that active little bit of a pull. Fingers stretching down, shoulder blades squeeze back into the mat, and the heels almost trying to drag themselves towards your bum on the mat. Take a breath in. On the breath out, let's go up into our bridge. We're going to tuck the pelvis and start to push down through the feet, walking the spine up one bit at a time until you're up in a nice tall bridge. Take a breath in. On the breath out, we're going to lift the right leg up into a tabletop position. From here, we're going to straighten the knee, bend into our tabletop, and lower back down. Fix your bridge. Keep the height. Breath in, breath out. We pick the left up into tabletop. Straighten, bend to tabletop, lower back down. Fix the height of your bridge. Take a breath in. Breath out, we float the arms up overhead till the backs of the hands touch the ground, up overhead. Breathe in. Now on the breath out, we're going to start to walk ourselves down, dropping the spine down out of the bridge one bit at a time. The hands are going to start to come with. The minute the tailbone hits the mat, we're going to follow the hands up. So now our hands are down by our sides, just floated a couple of inches up off the mat. Take a breath in. On the breath out, we're going to pick the right leg up, straighten out, hovering just a few inches up off the mat. Back, keep the height so you've got the head and the shoulder blades right the way I pick the left leg up. Straighten out fully. Pick back and down. Hands come down and the sequence starts again. Big breath in, breath out, pushing down through the feet up into a nice tall bridge. Pick the right leg up into tabletop. Straighten the knee, bend the knee to tabletop, lower back down. Fix the height of your bridge. Breathe in. Breath out, left leg to tabletop. Left leg straightens. Left leg tabletop, lower back down. Fix the height of your bridge. Breathe in to lift the arms. Arms touch the floor behind you. Breathe in. On this breath out, we're gently lowering the spine down one bit at a time. And the arms start to come back too. And when the tailbone touches down, we're sitting up into that abdominal curl up position. We've picked up the head, neck and the shoulder blades. Arms are floated up a couple of inches above the ground. Breathe in. Breath out, we pick the right leg up and we straighten. Pull back towards the chest and lower back down. Keep the height, keep your shoulder blades up. Let's pick up the left leg. Straighten out, pull back and down. Let's go again, hands touch down. Head touches down, push down through the feet. Roll the spine up into your nice tall bridge. Squeeze through the glutes, breathe in. On the breath out, pick the right leg up into tabletop. Straighten the knee, bend the knee to tabletop, lower back down. Fix the height of your bridge, squeeze through your glutes. Breathe in. Picking the left leg up to tabletop, straightening the knee out, bend the knee, pop that leg back down. Fix the height of your bridge. Breathe in to lift the arms up overhead. Arms touch the ground behind you as you breathe out. Breathe in. And we start lowering the spine down one bit at a time, and the arms start to come. Our head, neck and shoulders follow the arms, and we're up in that abdominal prep position. One more set with the legs. Arms are floated. Take a breath in. Pick the right leg up. Straighten out and away. Pull back. Touch back down. Fix the head of your abdominal curl up. Keep the shoulder blades up, and let's curl left knee and straighten the left leg away. Pull back towards the chest and lower and back down. Absolutely beautiful. From here, take your hands behind your head. So interlace your fingers behind your head. And we're just going to do 5 curl-ups onto the shoulder blades. Lifting up a little bit higher, looking down over the knees. Good. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Breath in. Breath out to lower back down. Arms come